What's up, boopers? By now, most of you have heard the news that Tera is going free to play. Now, I've got some mixed feelings about it. I'm a bit sad, but at the same time a bit happy, as this means we can expect a significant boost in the population. Some of you guys may be new, and others may be returning to the game after a break, and this video is going to give you the lowdown on what you need to know about Tera and what's happening in it right now, from class balance to gearing yourself up. So let's get started. Boop. Now first things first, a lot of players from EU have been asking me about playing in NA. You can play either, but playing in NA means you'll have a high ping of around 200. Now 200 ping may not seem like much, but it causes a ton of issues in PvP, especially if you are playing a melee class. I'm living in EU right now and playing on NA, and I just flat out can't do things that other Lancers can do just because of lag. So EU players, I recommend sticking with the EU version, as it's been taken over by Gameforge and has been updated to match the NA version, so the differences between the two are pretty much gone. Now before you get started, you may be wondering, what class should I pick? Well, my class guides are a bit outdated, but most of them are still somewhat accurate. Warriors are now full-fledged tanks. They have block and can queue as tanks for dungeons, but most people still prefer Lancers. Lancers are still the front-line steel-shielded damage eaters in PvE, but in PvP, a good Lancer is more of a fast mouse with sharp claws that pokes you until you're dead. There is a pretty big misconception that they're bad in PvP and do little to no damage, so just let it be known that Lancers are easy to play but hard to master, and not many players have mastered them. Berserkers and Sorks are still wham bam thank you ma'ams, though Berserkers are much more mobile now and Sorcerers are a lot more slippery. Archers are powerhouses, Slayers stab you, Priests don't die, and Mystics always cry. And that about sums up the state of the class balance in PvP. Boop. When you first hit level 60, or if you already have a level 60 and are returning to the game, you'll probably get lost wondering where to start for farming your gear. Now, you've got a lot of options here. For PvE, honestly, your best bet is to start farming gold and just buy the tier 14 off the auction house. If you don't want to fork out the gold for the good stuff, go for the cheaper tier 13 stuff that'll allow you to step inside the dungeons and make more gold and start farming the gear for yourself. You'll also want to start doing Nexus right away to start getting the rep and credits, as you'll need them regardless of whether you want a gear for PvP or PvE. You'll also want to run Nexus Traverse every chance you can, as it has a chance to drop a ton of useful, expensive Nexus credit gear for free! If you have no clue what a Nexus is, basically every day now, if you have the time, log on and head up to Zulfikar Fortress at the top of the hours being 12, 6, and 9 Pacific. Then, just follow a Zerg around and collect your free credits and cash. While doing this, if you don't have a group of friends to run Traverse with, try joining a pug forming. They should be spamming the world chat or zone chat during the entire Nexus event. Once you have a group, the leader will most likely know what he's doing and take you into the Traverse, where you'll fight relatively easy bosses and a ton of loot will drop. Try not to get scammed by the loot settings, pray you get lucky, and you could save yourself a ton of credits and farming time, as all tier 14 Nexus pieces can drop off of the bosses save for the weapon. Once you've started Nexus farming and you bought some gear so you look half decent, you can either start farming BG gear or start running dungeons for the better PvE gear. Now, I'll cover the Battleground stuff because, I'll be honest, since Battlegrounds came out I haven't really cared about PvE. And one of the more exciting things about the free-to-play patch is the coming of the new 3v3 BGs, which most of you will want to be geared for. Boop. So farming BGs will suck, a lot. But luckily the gear prices have been halved recently, making the grind less painful. If you hate getting one shot, I recommend buying pieces of cheap non-enigmatic PvP gear first. But even then, with that, you'll still probably have a bad time. Queuing by yourself, you'll get stuck against premates. So if you can form a group with friends, then you probably should. But even then, there will always be that one group of premades in full plus 12 tier 14 gear running around just being dicks and one-shotting everybody. You just have to suck it up and eat the access to your face until you get the points you need to buy the tier 13 enigmatic PvP gear. Then, once you have it, you buy the recipes to make the conjunction gear from the same PvP vendor. Then, buy all the mats and level your crafting to make the conjunct gear. I should mention that the conjunct gear requires the tier 13 enigmatic BG pieces as well as tier 14 gear from the Nexus, as well as tokens from both of them. Then, when you've got all that, get some Masterwork scrolls and try your luck at Masterworking. If you get the Conjunct gear Masterworked, then starts the RNG of getting that gear to plus 12, which will eat away at your gold and your soul. Slowly, you will die inside every time you fail. Sounds fun, right? Don't worry. Luckily, the Tier 13 BG Enigmatic gear isn't so bad compared to the plus 12 Tier 14 Conjunct gear. So if you don't want to grind all day, you can get away with just wearing plus 9 Tier 13 and playing good over farming non-stop for the red glow. However, for the 3v3 BGs, if you want to be the best, you'll probably want to be wearing the best gear. Oh, and one last thing you'll need is Glyphs. Once you've got a full set of Tier 13, then running Temple of Temerity, or TOT, should be fairly easy. But to save your first pugs any hardships, I recommend watching a video of TOT somewhere first so you know how the dungeon works. Once you know how it works, it's just a simple matter of getting it done and hoping no one in your group lets you down. Farming TOT should eventually get you the glyphs that you want for your class, and if it doesn't, then you'll need to head over to the other glyph dungeon, Serjuka Gallery. Boop. This one is soloable, and remember the tokens are BOE, so you can do it on ults and trade them to your main to speed up how fast you get your glyphs. To solo the dungeon, just head inside by your own lonesome, go to one of these pretty crystals and get them low enough to be killed in 1 or 2 hits. Then take off all your gear and crystals except for your weapon, kill the mobs in the middle, and then after you've killed them and the big mob spawn, go and kill that crystal you got low, jump for an extra 10 points, and then commit suicide to the mobs in the middle and decline the free resurrection. You'll gain 1,000 points for breaking the crystal, 10 for jumping, and then minus 1,000 for dying, leaving you with 10 points. Having less than 0 is enough to earn you 2 tokens, so rinse and repeat this as many times as needed on as many characters until you've got all your tokens in the mail for your glyphs. And that about sums up everything you'll need to know about coming back to Tera. If you find yourself running short on gold, then I think you can buy Chrono Scrolls in the shop now, and that'll give you in-game gold. There's also ways to buy dusts in the shop now, which I don't know if that's cool or not, but you can do it that way. Or you can farm the second floor of 3 towers like most people do for gold. Anyway, have fun. Boop.